Hey,
ho-
Nick.
a hospital housekeeper by day, gamer and streamer by night, and a survivor who's turned his battles into purpose. Nick will talk about how your resilience and healing through creativity and building community in your digital world. So, what's going on, man? Long time
Uh,
no see.
I know, right? I haven't. I mean, you guys always been on my live streams popping in.
Mm-hmm.
Nate over here blowing up the one stupid soundboard I have.
No, you don't
Um,
even have it anymore. What are you talking about?
I got in trouble on Twitch from it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but I can get it back underneath a different name. That's how I got in trouble because it said the word. That's why I got in
Cock.
trouble. No,
Oh.
nut. The nut button.
Well, you had that one, and then you
Oh,
had the Lord
Not even
have
because
mercy. I'm about
yeah,
to
all
bust.
because it said nut. That was fine. It's the fact that it said nut button. Twitch is like, yeah, get rid of that. I'm like, oh, okay.
what?
That's Twitch, man. I don't know what to
Mm.
tell you. Anyways, how I got into you were talking about how I got my name, right? So
Yeah, let's talk about how you
originally
got your name.
Nick Ravenwolf was not my name. My name originally was Little Raven. It was a name that was given to me by old school friends that were part of a native tribe, and I became adopted from basically into their group, and they took me in, and we were like really good friends. We always gamed up with each other, and they kept calling me Little Raven. The reason why Little Raven is underneath the native totem. I was born underneath the sign of a raven, so that's why Raven was my name. And everywhere I walk, there's always been a raven flying around. Always to this very day. Everywhere I go, there's always a raven. So I'm like, all right, looks like I'm living with the name. So then I went to put Little Raven down because I wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to do the first thing I was trying to do was glitches. That was another nickname that I was going was Nick the Glitch because I was breaking games. Mark, you actually know this because I like breaking games.
Mm-hmm.
I broke a lot of stuff on Fortnite. Even he was like, "What are you doing? How are you doing this?" I was breaking games, but Little Raven, I couldn't do it because if you go on YouTube right now and type in Little Raven, you're gonna get 7,000, I think 7,800 people with the name Little Raven. Name goes out the window. I was like, well, Little Raven ain't cutting it. So then I originally went into Nick's Rage because I was I will admit this. My friends already called me out and I admitted to them. So Phase Jeff, how he used to rage? He just flashbanged. He was
Yeah.
raging. Oh, so I started raging in all my games I was playing. Even if I was having fun, I was just raging and getting louder and louder and louder. So I took the name Nick's Rage, and then that died off after maybe a couple months. And then my friend Tanya, who passed away, she's no longer with us. She actually, I remember I was sitting in the hospital bed with her, and I was like, I can't think of a name. I don't know what to call myself. Nick's Rage isn't working. I'm getting bored with it. Little Raven, I can't do. I can't do this. I just going through the whole, loops of I don't know what to call myself. So then she goes, how about Nick Ravenwolf? And I was like, why that? She goes, you love wolves. You're passionate with wolves. You think they're awesome. And you're Raven. You've been Nick called Little Raven half your life. So why don't you take Nick Raven Wolf and see how that goes? And she actually drew me a tattoo, which is right here on my arm.
Oh, that's
She
dope.
drew that for me. And that was my promise to her before she passed away was if I ever got a tattoo, that is the first tattoo I'm getting, and I'll make that promise to you. Promise I kept. I have I'm about to show my age here. I have my old Virgin flip phone that my dad gave me an LG. That same picture went from a Virgin to an LG to a BlackBerry, which I call Crapberry because the phone sucked ass.
Oh,
And
come
then
on.
it kept going to all the phones I have, and it's on my new phone to this day. And it's a story I always share because my friend Tanya, I can always say, I know this is going to be an all moment, but I always said she was my first love. She was my first kiss, and she was like the first girl I told her I love her. And then, we had our moment with each other, and I told her I'll see her again. I'll come by and visit the next day. And when I came in, doctors and everyone told me said that she passed away.
Oh.
So she was one of my greatest female friends I've ever had. And because of her, Nick Ravenwolf, that name will forever live on. I will never change it. Like I said, when I make a promise, I keep a promise. And I've never changed my name, Nick Ravenwolf. Never even thought about changing it. I kept it Nick Ravenwolf since that day. So, and it's funny because before I never was really this talkative, bubbly. I was very shell like. I was very, even when I was streaming, when I first, and the thing is, it's kind of, it's funny. If you ever wanted to go on my old videos, I rarely talked. I was scared to talk. I was scared to open up and be goofy. Like Mark and Nate, you guys saw how goofy I can be with my voices, changing my accent, doing my voice changing and everything I can do. Streaming and making videos helped open me up. And then that's where I starting to meet a lot of groups. And then the nickname Nick Ravenwolf started actually becoming kind of like a thing in a Call of Duty group I was part of, where people were saying, "Oh crap, it's Nick Ravenwolf." And then in Activision, you can change your name. So my friend Matt, who Nate and I think Mark, I think both I talked about Matt a couple of times in my live stream.
Yeah,
he was a Marine vet, and he passed away due to suicide, unfortunately. He was my best friend, my brother. I always called him my brother because he was closer than a brother and everything to me. He gave me the nickname that Mark, as Big Chungus, because I used to always run around with an RPG and just point blank people with RPG. And he used to grab my microphone and just scream in the microphone, "You got owned by Big Chungus!" And he would just purposely do that. So it came to a point where I gave him the headphones, and he would just talk shit to people on channel as I'm just running around the RPG. And it's because a lot of people say gaming is just another way for them to cope, but gaming to me is another way of remembering my friends who passed away. Last year I lost my friend Ryan. Him and I were huge Halo buddies. We played Halo, Gears of War, basically any type of third person type of shooter or sci-fi shooter. Destiny was one of the big games we were into together. Like all these games I play, and every time I play them, I remember them. I remember having those special memories with them. And Matt was the one I actually have the most memories with because of how many overnights we just stayed up drinking. It wasn't Monster, it was Full Throttle. Drinking that in the old school NOS bottle that looked like actually a can of NOS. We were just drinking that and eating Little Caesars pizza, just staying up, beating Halo, and it's just like all memories. And to this very day, I always remember them, and because of them, that's why I'm even here today because Matt was even encouraging me, because there was a point where I did delete my YouTube channel, and Matt was like, "Why'd you delete it?" And I was discouraged. I was like, "No one's going to want to watch me. I'm just some shitty ass player. I can't do anything right. I suck at the games." He goes, "So what?" He goes, "Just put your videos out there and see what happens." Sometimes people like to see failure, because a lot of times people edit their videos to where they're always succeeding. They're never failing. They're like perfect runs. I was putting my videos out there where I was just dying the whole time. I was dying. I kept losing, but then I got to my objective, and all of that helped me out a lot with understanding okay, this is what people want to see. Maybe and all because of them, my friends. That's why I'm here today, still making videos, still making content. And then do you want me to get into the story of Jodian, or do you guys have any questions? I'm just rambling. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. First off, let's talk a little bit about the hospital worker. How do you balance work with gaming and find time for content creation? Because I also follow you on TikTok, and you've had some good TikToks.
Well, I got shadow banned on TikTok.
Just recently?
I've been shadow banned, so I can't. So I'm on TikTok. You can watch all my videos. I can talk to you. I can share videos. I can watch stuff. I can't post stuff. I think I got like 2 more weeks to go. So I used to post blood. I think it's Blood and Sorcery VR game. It's gory. I get it. It's head decapitations and stuff. I was making Mortal Kombat videos, and that it's too violent. So even though I put in there fake blood, this is all part of a video game, part of VR, still it's too violent. So I'm still on TikTok, but how I balance it all, I pray to God. No, I was kidding. So what I learned to do is, since I'm a crazy ADHD OCD maniac, I started planning out days how I'm going to be recording stuff. So the Nickelodeon channel, for instance, me and Joe, we meet up every Saturday. Every Saturday, ever since we first started the channel, it's either Saturday or Sunday. If Joe can't make it Saturday due to fill in the blank, or because I can't do it and I got stuff going on, or I'm not feeling good, we move it to Sunday. We record games here for like 6 hours straight. He chugs down a bunch of beer because he's just like, you're making me play this game. And we would just make videos, and my editing is always done actually Sunday morning. When I'm off, I edit. If I'm off, cup of coffee, I spend the first 2-3 hours just straight up chopping up all our videos into sections so I can kind of space it out. And on top of the Nickelodeon and the Nick Ravenwolf stuff, there's another thing I'm editing, which I don't know if you guys knew about. I'm a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons. So I write my own campaigns. I'm actually designing my own campaigns, storytelling, character development, and making my own maps, making my own designs, legit everything you can think of. And I even have a YouTube channel with that, which I edit those videos as well. So yeah, I know I'm crazy.
That's a lot, man.
But I enjoy it because, to me, I can handle it. I can handle all of it. If I couldn't, I wouldn't be recording. Because a lot of times my friends that I do the channels with, they tell me like, are you sure are you gonna be okay doing this? Is this too much? I'm like, I can handle it. I'm used to taking on big tasks, and I can take it and I can dish it out. So
with Nate and I, we could barely handle work and school and then this.
Hey, during school, I was doing the same thing. I was working with my dad full time, going to school full time, and then I was making videos and content online full time. I was consistently doing stuff nonstop. I just never stopped doing it. And I guess that's part of my ADHD OCD, where I can keep track of how I'm doing everything. And you can even ask Alexis, aka Koya. She'll tell you, she goes, I have a plan how I edit, how I record videos. I even have ideas. I have a list of games I'm planning on streaming, games, topics me and Joe talk about, because me and Joe have a Monday morning podcast that's still on the Nickelodeon channel. I'm just too lazy to make another YouTube channel because that's just too much work. But it's me and Joe have a podcast where we just talk about random nonsense bullshit about games, what we hope. Sometime now, just recently, the one that was today was about the worst of jobs, the best of jobs. And we talk about our crazy stories. And he talks about the Navy, because Joe was in the Navy for 4 years. And
yeah, he was a seaman. Ooh. He was a seaman.
And so Joe brings in a lot of his funny stories from the Navy. Security, for instance, I'll do a little Easter egg and just jump ahead of one of the clips in the video. There is a story Joe talks about where he locked himself to his own desk for 8 hours because he forgot his key. You can ask him the story.
Like when he was in the Navy?
No, he was regular security.
Oh, I was about to say that sounds like a Navy seaman.
Now he probably did that in the Navy too. Who knows? There's still more stories that are coming out. But with like all the like planning everything and juggling life, like it does suck because I am like, I've been battling a lot of stuff with depression, what stuff came out because the holidays coming up, my memories of my friends are coming up, and that hits me hard. So there's times where I'll be editing and I have to like stop, and I'll text Joe immediately and be like, yo, I want to make a post on YouTube. I can't do any videos today because I'm just, you guys already know, you hit that wall and your brain just does not want to do anything. And sometimes you need to step back because it's eating at you. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So like recording everything, making a schedule, everything. The one thing I had to learn to keep telling myself is this isn't a job. This is something you're passionate about. And the more I kept telling myself that, and I started becoming more excited to do these videos and more eager to make more content, the more I didn't even look at it as a job. I just started, I was like, okay, I can balance that. I can balance this. I can do this. And on top of all of this, I'm balancing working out at the gym, at work, and that, and changing my whole diet around, changing my whole life around, getting back into my samurai training I did, um, getting back into the exercises. I'm having it's funny you bring up TikTok because there's people, and I didn't even look on TikTok's Messenger until recently. I have 175 people actually messaging me. I don't even really know these people. They're just followers. And they're begging for videos I've done. Like I've done spin tricks with my lightsaber. I was doing cool, like funny skits, doing stupid stuff. And I didn't realize how much people actually were missing all of that.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, looks like I got to start making some more funny videos and stuff. But I will admit it is hard to juggle it, but if you're committed to it and you're passionate about it, you can do it. You can put your mind to anything.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
even
So
possibly in the works of going back to school.
nice,
So
man.
I'm just
All right,
waiting for confirmation. All right,
We're
go
gonna
ahead. My
turn.
bad.
We're gonna. No, you're good. We're gonna turn it a little on the sad side. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna tap into the depression and stuff if you're okay
Mhm.
with it.
We
Talk
can do it.
about how you got there, what helped you get out, and how gaming has became a lifeline for you.
Well,
And
this is gonna go in a dark area. Just forewarning you.
that's fine. That's what we're here for.
That's what this is
So
for.
my depression and how everything got me to that point was actually at a very young age. I want to, if I had a guess, I'd say about maybe around 8, 9 years old. I grew up in a very religious household setting. So everything was God, go to church every Wednesday night, go to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Saturday morning, visitation and stuff like that. And I'm not mad at my parents for doing that because it did help develop another mindset. But at the same time, when I had questions and things were happening to me and I didn't know what was going on and I needed somebody to talk to. I needed like a father figure, and I have a dad too. I make that very clear. I'm not against my father. Um, my dad grew up without a dad, so my dad was kind of flying solo with how should I talk to my son. He was able to. My father was very easy to relate to my older brother, because my brother was basically identical to my dad. I wasn't. Um, my brother, my father loved hunting. I really wasn't a big hunter. I loved scouting. I loved hiking. I could be in the woods 8 hours if I had to. Like I loved it. That was never a problem. And when moments were happening to me in my life where my health list goes huge with how many issues I have with my body, there's things I wanted to do, and my doctors were everyone was telling me you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you're going to be this rest of your life. And this was the moment where I was just giving up. I was giving up on everything. In high school, I wanted to play sports. I wanted to go do this. I wanted to try achieving it. And hearing every single person just telling me, no, you can't do it. Your health goes against it. It's useless. It's worthless. You're worthless. Even the fact that even had a person tell me I'm worthless and they were supposed to be, a mentor, a person to, a person I was supposed to look up to, a person I was supposed to be there for me, and they're telling me I'm useless. And at a young age, that destroys you. That's what destroys you as a person. And this is going to take a dark role, and I hope I don't get you in trouble for this part. When I was 13, 14 years old, and I was starting to open up more to people, I was molested. I was molested in school. I was bullied and picked on. I was massively overweight because back then, they don't know what they're doing with the medication. So they're just, here, take this. This might work for your breathing and your asthma. And it made me gain so much weight at a young age that, you know, I was a chubby kid. So I got bullied and picked on every single day at school. The stuff that was done to me, I'm not going to say that part because that's definitely, you know, but I was molested. I was molested by a preacher's son who was a visitor, and I had to survive from 15 years old to graduation. And it was hard. It messed me up mentally because I had questions like, why do I feel violated about this? Because some people make fun of me about it, but when you're a young kid and you don't know what any of that stuff is, and you feel violated, you feel like you have no privacy, you feel like everything about you was ripped from you, it messes with you. Because it wasn't just one time this person did it. He had his little buddies that would help him out, and you know, they did what they did. And it ruined who I was growing up. And I personally, to this very day, I go to therapy. I'm not afraid to admit that. I tell my therapist, and I'm like, I feel like since that happened to me, since I was 13 going on, I feel like my childhood was taken from me. I didn't get to really experience, you know, being a kid, being bubbly. Like I had friends, I ran around the neighborhood with friends and stuff, but like having that, I guess you can say, innocence as a child, that was gone. I didn't know what kind of sexuality there was. I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't even have the mindset of sex at that age. But like this stuff happening to me, I was forced into it. And then, you know, I overcame that, shed a little bit of light from the darkness. The one moment my father did have a sit down with me because I was crying in my, I was crying, kid, you're crying in your bedroom. You don't know what to do. My father came in and goes, I'm going to tell you one thing my mentor told me. And this is just one word. I want you to remember it from this day forward. My father's still alive. Just make that very clear too. But what my father told me has stuck in my head. My dad goes, prove him wrong. Just prove him wrong. Doctor's telling you can't do this, prove him wrong. I will be there for you. If you want to play basketball, you want to play football, you want to play baseball, soccer, floor hockey, I will be there. And he was. My father missed one game. I started getting a little emotional. I started playing basketball when I was 14, and my dad didn't miss a single game. He missed one game when I turned 18, and we were going to the semi-playoffs. My dad missed that game, but my dad begged every single person that had a camcorder if they can record it. And I still have that recorder. I still have an old school VHS tape. It's at my parents' house, and it says Knicks final game. We lost in the semifinals, but still, my dad was there every game, every time, and that's another thing too with playing sports that opened me up to a lot of things too, of learning. Wow, I really did prove the doctors wrong. Wow, I really proved everyone wrong that I can do this. And fast forwarding to there, I went to college. This is where it gets really depressing. This is where we're going to a dark area now, very dark. I went to a Bible college because I was making my parents happy because that's what they wanted. So, of course, I went to a Bible college for them, not for me. I'll make that very clear. So I picked up, I didn't want to be a preacher or anything. I love history. So I took on I was the only person in this course, this category, which was biblical history. And
Okay.
I loved it because there's actually a lot of stuff I did learn. And I got abused every single day in this college. And about a couple months in, people start seeing the new guy around, and I didn't have anybody. Everybody had backup, had friends with them. I had nobody. I was legit alone. And there was my roommate at the time, and he got some people who were outside of the college to come in, and that was the time I was raped. I was raped and molested in my dorm, and it went from the dorm to the shower, and almost every single night for 6 months, I had to physically fight, fist to fist, slamming people against walls just to get some shut eye. Then I had to legit barricade a door with I took weights from the weight room that was legit down the hall, and I had to barricade my door. And the person that was in charge was on their side and didn't believe me. And this went on, the molesting and all that went on for, I want to say, about 8-9 months straight, just happening to me, no one backing me up, until one guy actually did take my side and started backing me up. As much as I appreciate him, but my brain kind of goes a little too late. Damage is already done. And I never told a soul about this until about, I want to say, 2 years ago. Recently, I started telling people about this because I was embarrassed about it. I was embarrassed about being, a grown man, and this stuff happened to me in a Christian place where it's supposed to be everyone's nice to each other. Everyone's, doing the same thing you're doing. They're just trying to go to school. They're trying to learn more. They want to get, closer to God. They want to get more knowledge, and hear all this stuff happen to me. And I never told my parents about it. And every time I tried telling people about it, they were just telling me, go to God. Just put their hand in my face and say, go to God. And I'm like, I do, and that's not helping me. I need guidance. I need someone. I need someone there. I need someone to tell me, am I going to be okay for the rest of my life? Is this going to be affecting me the rest of my life? I was losing sleep. I was getting sick. And then fast forward, I dropped out of that college, still never said anything. It was in the middle of it was in the silent of the night. My father came up, and my father saw me super sick in bed. I was vomiting, projectile vomiting like The Exorcist. Father took me home in that. And my first year home, I had dealt with how of an embarrassment I was to the family. I dealt with being bashed about that, how come so-and-so is doing so good and my son's not doing good. And it got me to a very dark point. And that was also around the same time I lost Matt. Matt passed away. And so I was alone. I had nobody. I was in a very dark place where I didn't know what to do. I had no one to turn to. Almost everyone I thought that was on my side wasn't. And I attempted suicide. I thought it was just time to, I guess no one wants to be there for me. I've been there for everyone through thick or thin, and no one can be there for me. I guess this is my only answer. So in the darkest place of my mind, I'm not going to say how I did it or what I did, but I did it, and I didn't take anything back. I didn't write no notes. I didn't write anything. I wanted to. I wanted to write a whole note, but my brain goes, everyone brought me to this point where I felt the most darkest I have ever been. And then everything, I still remember to this very day how it felt. Everything went dark. Everything was just quiet. And then the next thing I know is I'm waking up to a bright light in my face, thinking I'm dead, thinking, okay, this is it. I died. I crossed over. Now what do I do? And so as I'm opening my eyes, I see a doctor with, he's checking my pupils. I can feel something down my throat. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And then come to find out, I did OD, but I survived it somehow, some way. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I survived it. And I took that opportunity as, this is my second chance. This is my second chance to crawl out of this pit. Whether I got to do it alone or with somebody, I'm getting out of this damn pit, and I'm never coming back to this pit. Now, that doesn't mean, to everyone out there that's saying, oh, good for you and everything, that does not mean that's not still back here. It's still a little scratch in the back of your head. And I made a vow to a friend who is no longer with me. He passed away as well. I made a promise to him. I made a promise to my grandmother. I went to all my relatives' grave sites, and I legit made a promise to them. I'm never doing this again. No matter how dark it gets, no matter how hard it gets, I'm just going to have to learn to get stronger and learn to tolerate this. And that's good and bad, because when you start tolerating, you become numb, turns you away from everything you're passionate about and everything you love and everything you care about, starts turning you numb. So I would never say tolerate it, but being strong and get an old proverb I had to learn from my sensei, my teacher, when I did samurai training. If you ask for strength, prepare for obstacles. And from that day forward, obstacles hit me, and I started learn to overcome those obstacles. And yeah, I'll admit there's times you want to throw a towel in. It gets way to a point where you look up and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to get over this? How am I supposed to adapt to this? What am I supposed to do? How can anyone overcome this? And then each day goes along and you realize you're overcoming it. You're actually doing better than you even thought you were going to do. And from that day forward, I decided to, when I came back from, the suicide and I survived it, I volunteered for Crisis Center to help out with, suicide victims, and that for around that time. That was, and I went from that time about 7 years in. And my last 2 years I did with the Crisis Center for volunteering, I helped vets out. I asked about it. I'm like, can I do veterans? Can I help out veterans? And they said, yeah, you can. And then, of course, their policies changed and things went different downhill. And, you know, but seeing all of that, and I'm not going to shit talk the Crisis Center, but there were some things I didn't like how they were handled, and how I'm trying to make sure I dodge how I'm going to say this, because it's going to come out sounding sexist, and I don't want it to sound sexist, but it's what I saw. That's what I had to go through. So I'm trying to figure out how I can word this without sounding sexist, because it really wasn't sexism. It's just the way it was going and how I was seeing it. And I was like, how come we're not caring about, this person, but we're caring more about this person, and this person's in, way more turmoil than this person. Yeah,
So it's kind of like a form of discriminating, because discriminating isn't just about race, but it's about you're helping one party, but you're not helping another party the same as the one you are. So
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it was, I'm trying real hard not to say what I want to say, because I know it's going to come. Someone's going to interpret the wrong way, and I don't want that happening on your guys' platform. And same with a lot of vets. That was one thing I felt horrible for, is how I saw vets being treated on there. Is that there will be a guy and he's shaking and he just wants to talk. Half the time, all they wanted was someone to talk to. Not even to overcome, like, I'm going to kill myself or I'm going to unalive myself. They just wanted someone to talk to, where, okay, I have a human talking to me. I have human engagement, not just someone being an automatic robot call going through the list of things of what we need to progress. And
a lot of people that call crisis lines, veteran crisis or the normal crisis line, a lot of them want to be able to speak and be heard without, and so a lot of them don't even want guidance. They just want to be heard. So yeah. I agree with you. That's what a lot of, I know civilians do it, but a lot of veterans they're not heard when they're at the VA. So they go to,
who's going to listen to them?
Well, 5 different therapists in 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. That's what it is. It's just, well, I want to be heard, but nobody wants to hear me, sort of thing. I don't need you to guide me right now. I need you just to hear me. So, yeah, I get it. I do want to backtrack though, real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go off on a tangent about it or anything.
Yeah.
My beliefs are a lot different than others. I'm not a Christian, but I am very spiritual, because spirituality is more than just me believing in Sky Daddy. It's me. It's my beliefs and my values that I hold to myself. Anyway, you said something, because the things that happened to you at college, and you went to a Christian college, basically a Bible college, Christian, whatever. When people like, you're better than me, because if that would have been me and people were like, well, just go to God, and I would have just been like, well, where was he when it was all happening in the first place?
That's what was going on in my head. I was saying that in my head, like, okay,
oh,
well, if he's there, why is this happening?
Yeah, no, I would have been saying it out loud, and that would have really made it worse. But anyway, so, and I'm sorry that all this happened to you. To touch on the suicide. So my last attempt was in 2017, and I failed, obviously, because I'm right here. See.
Yep.
The way I look at it is, like you said, it is a second chance. But we failed for a reason, right? We failed because our purpose, I don't know about everybody that fails it, but our purpose is to help others. So that's why you're still here. You failed so you could succeed, right? Because when you help someone else, you're succeeding.
Right.
And they may not understand that. They may just think, okay, well, I appreciate you helping me. But inside, you're like, man, I just succeeded. So always think of it as, yeah, it's a second chance, but it's not just a second chance. Now that you've went through this, you've experienced it, and you've grown from it, you are doing what the main thing that you were meant to do, and that's why you failed. I know that sounds harsh, but I like the way I look at it is I failed suicide, and I know that when I failed, the first thing that popped in my head was like, damn, I can't even succeed at this. But then I had like a you moment where I was like, oh wait, so I failed, but now I have a purpose. So I just wanted to touch on those few things.
No, that's fine.
I'm not gonna because I know you were telling your story, and we're not like, it's not a pity party thing. I just wanted to say that I am sorry that those things happened to you, but I wanted to show that I could relate as well, because that's what we're here for, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know what Mark has next.
I threw a lot at you, Mark. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
No, I was taking some notes too. So let's kind of spin it just a smidge. So tell me a little bit about how you got from there to turning to the whole gaming platform, and how that ties into saving, basically becoming your lifeline, right?
So how all of that came into play is, once again, hearing Tanya in the back of my head, hearing Matt in the back of my head, all my friends that were like, a lot of my friends would tell me, when you stream or when you make videos, it's a different Nick we've never seen before. It's somebody who's actually passionate, and a different side of me comes out. And the thing is, I'm one of those people who I hate hearing myself. I hate seeing myself on camera. I make myself cringe when I'm on camera. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, you guys get it. I hate seeing. I'm like, oh my God.
Man, I barely listen. I try not to listen or watch when I edit the podcast, because I hate my voice with a freaking passion, dude. So yeah,
that's how it is when I edit me and Joe's video. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch Joe. I don't want to watch the other guy in the video. No, but all of that alone brings. I guess you could say, in a way, it brings in that light I've never saw before. That joy I always wanted to feel again. Just making a video or doing a quick little live stream, and then seeing everyone pop on my channel, and everyone's like laughing, everyone's having a good time. It makes me feel like I'm serving my purpose, because I made a small vow to myself. Whether you guys want to call it cringe or not, that is perfectly fine. But my vow to myself was, I at least want to make one person laugh or smile at least once, just once. Even if it's just one person, I just want to make them laugh. As long as I know I'm doing a purpose, making someone feel joy, and they're not feeling, that darkness hitting them, as long as I can bring that joy to them.
Why would that be cringe?
No. Some people told me before, oh, dude, that's cringe. That's cringe. I'm like, that's my own personal vow.
And who are these people? Like, I mean, who? Like, I think some people in this day and age, they just hear words and then they start throwing them out there, and half the time they don't even know what they mean or what their purpose is.
Yeah, they're just acquaintances. We'll leave it at that. And they're like, that's cringe. Because I said it on my live stream a couple of times. Mark, you actually were there when I said that. I think I was on a Fortnite stream and I was talking about how I was making Mark laugh his ass off on the stream because I was just making funny comments and doing funny accents and then just popping off with headshots out of nowhere and having fun with it. And I was making everyone laugh, like in chat and the game chat and everything. Everyone was laughing. And I said it on my stream. I always want to try my best to make somebody laugh and just make someone smile. And sometimes, I work in a healthcare field, and where I work is in the dialysis area. I see patients sitting down, they're hooked up to the machines, and they're there for, hours. Sometimes I see them there for like half my shift, and I always will do something funny, goofy. I'll talk British or something, or I'll do an old person accent, like the one lady. Her name is Michelle. She knows me. She loves me. She calls me cute little white chocolate. I make her laugh. I grab her. I'll grab her cane and I will talk like this, and I'll just do like a funny voice to her, and she laughs and she smiles. And the one day she did tell me when she lives over where the long-term care patients are, and one day she told me, she goes, I was hating every second of sitting here watching TV every day until you started making funny stuff. She goes, now every single day, I can't wait to see if you're working that day. And that just put a smile on my face because my brain's like, when you come from a dark area where, you went from depression and you crawl out of that pit yourself, no one helped you. You did it yourself. You feel like you don't really do a difference to anybody around you. You just, I want to make people laugh, but you don't realize the light you're shining on people who are already in their darkest moments, or they're going through something that you have no idea about, and you just made them feel something they haven't felt in God knows how long. I'm not calling myself, I'm a hero in this. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, as long as I made someone feel something they haven't felt in forever, or have that joyful feeling again, like it's Christmas morning again. Like that's how I want people to feel. I want people to feel funny, or be in tune with what I'm doing, or, have a strong conversation with me. I love conversating, as you can tell. I'm rambling on. I'm a very good talk person. I love talking. And some of
Sounds
those
like to
patients.
me you just fulfilled Michelle's sweet tooth white chocolate.
I knew it was going to be worked against me. I knew that was going to happen.
You know what's funny though is about that nickname that you have that was actually one of my nicknames growing up when I played basketball.
White
Between white I was White Mike, even though my name's not Mike, but I was White Mike or White Chocolate. Those were my two nicknames growing up. So when you said that, I was like,
I saw your face. You're like,
obviously,
wait a minute.
For her, it's a little different. I don't think it has anything to do with basketball whatsoever. However, when you said it, I was just like, dude, that was my nickname growing up. That's freaking awesome. But anyway,
Hey,
so
just depends on the game that they're playing, bro.
I mean,
it's funny because yours was white chocolate in basketball. I played basketball in high school and college. Mine was Tank. It was Tank Walsh, because
nice.
I was able to keep speed with the fastest guys, as being a big dude I am. And the second someone ran into me, they hit the floor.
Right.
So my coach was like, Tank, not a tank. We're not football. And I'm like, I'm not running into them. They're running into me.
Right. They ran into me and they fell. I don't know what to tell you, bro. But no, that's awesome.
Yeah. But going back to, the patients and with healthcare and all that, as long as and the thing is, I was, when I first worked at healthcare, I worked when COVID first hit, or was hitting at that point. I had to work up in the ICU area. So I was around patients who were on ventilators. They couldn't talk. I had to get dressed up like in a spacesuit. And I had a loud ass fan where I could barely hear the patient, but I used to crack jokes with them, and they would laugh. Because at the time, COVID, they didn't know what was going on. So they were isolated from everybody. Like they were in the deepest corner of a room, hooked up to a machine. They were not allowed to leave the bed. They had to stay there in this tube looking thing and stay there. And I was in the room. I had to clean. CDC was there with a clipboard watching you go in the room, how you had to clean. That was a whole nother story there because that was a nightmare. Because every time you came out of the room, you had to take it all off properly, clean the inside of it, clean the outside of it, and then put it back on and go in the other room. And this is 35 rooms I had to clean. So just imagine doing that in 35 rooms. We had to take your suit off properly. I was still on probation, so I could have got the second I did something wrong, I could have been fired and sent home. I don't know if that would have been a cause, maybe a hand slap. I don't know. Maybe my beautiful white chocolate charm would make them happy. But that I got to like talk to these patients and I got to make them feel happier by doing like a funny accent, doing, saying some kind of jokes to them, and they were laughing. And I knew the thing is like after you get adapted to people like me, I always go off people's energy in a room. Like energy isn't there, I don't say anything. I will just have a normal conversation. But like if I could feel the energy and they're like a bubbly person, I could tell that, I could start a joke and then they'll just start laughing. And that's what makes me happy, knowing that, I might not like my job, but it makes me happy knowing that I'm making a difference in everyone that I come across. And there's still a patient to this day, because I see him every time in the hallway and he stops every single time. He has paralysis. He's paralyzed. And every time he has like a motorized cart, he drives it and he can only turn his head here and there. And he drives with like the thing in his mouth. And he stops every single time in the hallway he sees me. And he just goes, hey, he gets and you can see on his face, they're going through stuff, especially if you're going through something like that, your life's definitely, it's not over, but it's kind of, it puts you in a dark area. And every time he sees me in the hallway, the look on this man's face, he gets so excited seeing me, and it makes me appreciate that I was in that person's life. That I'll be remembered by that person. As dark as that might sound, I'm just happy that I can be that person's light.
Maybe you were their white chocolate as well.
That's funny.
It's funny because when I first met him, I had my man bun where I had my side shaved and just my man bun. Now he saw me. So now he sees me.
He just admitted he was a little sweet. So
yeah,
I'm just saying. Just a little
and then now I just admitted there.
The white chocolate part now is starting to really, really show.
All right, Nick. Let's talk a little briefly about Nickelodeon universe here. Let's talk about let's connect it
chaos.
to so let's connect it forging your path, right? So you talk a little bit about how you did samurai training and you're in the gym, so basically you're reforging yourself, right? So
yes,
I don't know, I've launched a wellness brand called Soul Forge that I'm starting to get off the ground. So talk a little bit about how you you're forging your path back, right? So with Nick and talk about your new side with Nick and Joe. I love the episodes. I love what you guys are doing. It's fun to watch the old games being played by somebody else that still gets angry about it.
Especially if you watched the Crash Bandicoot one where I died so many times. Oh my god. And we even admitted on our show too, and people are like, "You guys live underneath a rock?" And I'm like, "Listen, I grew up in a poor family household. I didn't have the only games I had available were the ones my uncle was like, "Oh, I got the new console. Take the games I used to have." That's all I had available to me. There's an episode on there where it's legit a death montage, just me dying, and I purposely edit it where every time I was like, "What in the?" cut to the next death. What the? It kept cutting over and over to each death until I finally got it right. And it was funny because it was a whole week later, I beat the level, and Joe, and you can see in the video, Joe's just staring at me and he goes, "Where the fuck was this when we first played?" But how that all started, Nickelodeon, was actually originally was going to be a podcast. Was me and Joe were talking about making a podcast about our gaming life because me and Joe love playing retro and love playing new games. And one day I looked at Joe and I was like, instead of making a podcast talking about video games, which wasn't a bad idea, I'm not against it, but I was like, let's make this even more embarrassing on ourselves. How about we play the games? We just play it raw, and if we die, and we keep that footage in to show how embarrassing we are at these games that we once played when we were children that we beat easily. And Joe just goes, let's fucking do it. So the thing is, me and Joe, when I first met him, because he was first friends with Alexis, and then Alexis introduced me to him. Me and him kicked off as just disconnected right there, talking games all the time, playing. He used to sit in a room with me and watch me play a game. And I'm the type of dude where, and this must be the old soul in me, but like when I'm playing a game and I'm looking at the person sitting next to me, I'll throw you the controller. I'll just give it to you. Here you go. I never played this game before. Oh, you're gonna learn today. That's how I am when I play. I want to get people involved with, they're a gamer. Here, try it out. What do you think? But with that whole channel, Joe, and I might get emotional saying this. Joe knows this already because him and I had like the bro talk with each other. I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm like, I always believe when a soul passes on or moves on, I always believe you run into somebody that resembles that person that was once alive. That doesn't mean you forget about that person. That just means some way how the universe just connects a person who you miss, and that person acts just like that person. And Joe reminds me identical. Joe reminds me exactly how Matt is. Matt was the same way, just busting each other's balls the whole day and laughing about it, never getting salty at one another, not getting, going too far, because we know when to go too far, not to go too far. But Joe became my beacon, I call it, because it was like, there's so many times I'll be like, I want to text something to Matt. There's times I will like go on my phone, I'll find something like, I got to send this to Matt. And then it hits me, your brain goes into that dark mode again. And then I send it to Joe, and then I start laughing again. And that's how the Nickelodeon channel kicked off. And that's why me and Joe connect so well, because we're two idiots in the room that can't shut up. And we suck at some of these old games, and it makes amazing content. And so from that day forward, me and Joe go, screw it. Let's just make a YouTube channel and let's just have fun with it. Let's just go. Let's not stop. Even if we become famous or we don't, I at least want someone out there to laugh. And on our Instagram channel, I'm lazy. I'm bad. I slapped my own hand for this one. I don't always post on Instagram a lot just because life and other thing going on. I always forget. It's my fault. There's times I get messages from people on that channel saying, yo, you and Joe doing that, I never laughed so hard in my life. And I always say that's what I want to do. And that's what Joe's plan is too. Joe wants people to laugh. Joe legit, I haven't put it in the video yet. I haven't made a side video of it yet, but I have a video on my phone of Joe slipping on a banana peel.
Well, it's hilarious.
And that's kind of how the whole Nickelodeon thing started. Just two idiots wanting to play a game and make everyone laugh.
I expect you to do an episode where you incorporate white chocolate.
Well, there's a Willy Wonka game.
I don't care how you have to do it, but I want to hear in that video about your nickname, White Chocolate.
Oh, I can easily.
Do you understand me?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. I can do that.
Your mission is now.
Your mission is now. All right. Well, I'll text Joe. Yo, I got to do white chocolate in my video.
Yo, white chocolate. And he's got to refer to you as white chocolate the entire time.
He already calls me Daddy DM. Dungeon Master. Daddy Dungeon Master.
Man, so much of this
So
conversation is
instead
making
of-
sense.
So instead of Daddy DM, he can call you Sweet White Chocolate.
He will. He will.
I'm just saying, you got to switch it up every now and then. So, like one episode's like, hey, Daddy DM. And then the next is like, yeah, come here, my sweet white chocolate.
Yo, we do that already. I call my sweet little butter biscuit. So
Lord
And,
have mercy, I'm about to bust.
now I gotta put that back in because you said it, Nate. I gotta do it. So going from that to basically forging myself of who I, getting myself back into shape and that. That kind of was just me getting grumpy because I bought, so this is a funny joke. I bought a new pair of pants. They didn't fit. They fit me once. Now they don't. And then I just went, screw this. I'm gaining too much weight. I once was taking care of myself. I once was working out and watching myself, watching how much food I consumed, how much I was eating, how much snacks I was eating. So then I just said, screw it. I'm going to make a difference and change myself. And Mark, because you sent me that, I forget what it was, but you sent me like the macro count for myself. I actually do keep count of that, of how much I'm consuming. If I do consume any junk food, I try making sure I limit how much I'm eating. I do try making sure that I'm eating certain type of food. I always make sure that I cut back on stuff. I don't always change my diet all the way. I still keep my diet the same. I just stop how much I used to consume and I cut back completely. And it's a huge change because my body's freaky. I think it's freaky because I was anorexic for 2 years when I was going through my depression. So I think me being anorexic at that time messed up my stomach for life. So my body I can adjust to any type of eating pattern I do. And I know when to watch the signs that starts leaking back in because, I had to go to therapy for that too. But yeah, I started doing that. I missed my sensei a lot. He passed away. He was teaching me when he was in his 80s. Dude move. I didn't even know he was even in his 80s. I'll be honest with you. I thought the man was in his 60s. He was flipping people over, beating the crap out of me. And I was a way bigger dude than he was. The things he would do to me, I'm like, how are you doing this at your age, my guy? And
But there was no white chocolate.
there it is. I gotta find.
I'm sorry. I love it, but that's why I keep bringing it up, just because.
I gotta find a soundboard now.
You do. You need something that's like, that's my white chocolate.
I already found one that says Big Chungus. That's gonna be added in soon. No, but going with the samurai training, I did that for 6 to 7 years, and that. Between that and when I went to college for criminal justice, and there's a whole funny story with that. If you ever want to hear it, I'll gladly tell it because it's actually very funny because it's all by accident what happened to me. If you want to hear it, because that's actually another forge that to this day actually helped motivate me to this very moment.
We're getting pressed for time.
No worries.
We try to keep everything down to an hour.
No, I got you.
So we don't lose audience. It's just like, hey, an hour. Boom.
Gotcha.
We can listen to it. So closing out, Nick, if you had one piece of advice for anybody feeling lost or alone, what would it be? Go.
I will tell you to prove everyone wrong. You can do it. Just because no one believes in you doesn't mean you can't believe in yourself. If I can crawl myself out of the deepest pit of hell, me, who gave up on a lot of things in life, I know you can do it too. That's what I would say.
That's wise words from White Chocolate.
As always, Nate. As always.
Yeah, so everybody listening, check out White Chocolate's Twitch stream, his podcast with Nick and Joe.
Except it's not under White Chocolate. So when you go in there, you have to call him White Chocolate.
There it is.
Nick Ravenwolf on Twitch. Go ahead and drop your socials real quick, man.
I'm on Twitch, Nick Ravenwolf. I'm reviving my YouTube channel, Nick Ravenwolf, as well on YouTube. Nick Ajodian, The Revisitors on YouTube. And if you wanted to watch it, go right ahead. It's called Mimic Support Group on YouTube. That's my Dungeon and Dragons friends. And you can watch me be comical and be witty.
Thank you. Thank you. Any last words, Nate?
No. Thank you, White Chocolate.
No, thank you, White Chocolate.
Stop it. Lord have mercy. I'm about to bust.
I was just about to say that too.
All right. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, keep forging forward. This is the Rock Talk